last a lifetime. This moment is brought to you by National Cream Crackers.
Talk Up Yout is powered by National Baking Company in association with Cranwater, a Stanley and Empress production, giving the youth a voice.
Talk Up Yout.
So we come to know these youths and show these youths. Talk up yourself, the youths to know them roots. Nurture them, protect and love and hear these youths. Music make them know I love we show these youths. Make them save the youth, not kill the youth. I build we come for build the youth.
Talk Up Yout encourages all youth to find tangible solutions for their issues. Are you ready for today's show? Today's topic is
build we come for build the youth. Youths in action, Jamaica. We are build the youths there. Talk Up Yout in Jamaica.
The issues with self-esteem plague youth of all ethnic backgrounds and social classes. Our cast members are going to cover the ins and outs of these issues and give their own groundbreaking solutions on how to love yourself.
We have to build the youths there. Talk Up Yout in Jamaica.
All right, let's start self-esteem. My issue is this. Despite the wealth of knowledge that is available, a lot of persons don't know how to identify low self-esteem. And the truth is, low self-esteem is crippling our youth. You know, I've never talked about this openly before, but I, for one, suffered from very low self-esteem. I was very withdrawn. I lacked self-confidence. And the worst part about it, those around me, they could have never identified it. I was hurting inside, and a lot of youth today are going through the very same thing.
We have a stereotype attached to people with low self-esteem. We feel like only girls suffer from low self-esteem. And so when a male feels hurt inside your room, they feel as if that boy is not really a boy, or that man is not really a man. And we need to get out of that mindset in Jamaica, because anyone can suffer from low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem is a very major issue in Jamaica. And I think that the bleaching of the skin is a major issue because it occurs among both our male and our female teens, right? And they feel as though that bleaching is the ideal concept of beauty, right? Because when they look in the mirror, they see flaws, they see faults, and they see failure, right? So we need to understand that we are beautiful despite of our color.
You have the ideas of external beauty, machoisms, and those things being the primary definitions of what we call self-esteem. And we don't have a lot of self-worth. Because self-worth is supposed to go firstly to the child, and then the child appreciates that type of self-worth. And if that's not the case in Jamaica, then we can't expect the child to get self-worth from somewhere else. Because he'll get it from the television, he'll get it through music, and then we have a host of other problems.
It also comes down to how people deal with you. Because I was born a fat person. I've always been fat, you know. And I never had a problem with myself until I was about maybe 12, going up into teenage years. And all of a sudden, people had a problem with me. So people make comments or say things, and it would really affect me. And then one day I just wised up and decided that you can't allow the negative comments from people, because Jamaica has a culture of shaming where they will say if they don't like that you're fat, they will tell you that you're fat and they will treat you away because of it. And also maybe you sleep with a lot of people, or they think you're promiscuous, they will shame you because of it. Or even something as silly as wearing the same clothes twice or not going to the same parties. And people internalize that, and it affects how they think about themselves, and it can also lead to low self-esteem.
Well, for me, being a person in a wheelchair, you have simple issues as not feeling normal. You don't think that you're just like everybody else. You have lack of confidence based on the fact that you don't want to apply for a job, you don't want to go out and do certain things because you're afraid of the opinion of other persons, what they'll have to say about you, being discriminated and not being included and stuff like that. So for me, that's my major issue. Discrimination for persons in a wheelchair makes persons have low or no self-esteem at all.
My other issue deals with the fact that persons do not know how to manage their low self-esteem issues. We have young people looking to all manner of evil, destroying themselves rather than looking for the self-help that is needed and for the support from those around them.
Well, regarding with the self-management, it still goes back, for me, in my opinion, to discrimination, because based on the fact that I acquired my disability 6 years ago, I pretty much enjoyed the best of both worlds. But when I was walking, I had self-esteem issues because I didn't really fit in with a lot of persons in high school because I was stereotyped as a nerd or something like that. Being in the wheelchair now, I'm just seen as quote-unquote a handicap. Most persons don't think that I'm able to do what they do. I can press, I can cook, I can wash, it just takes a bit more time. Any job that you can apply for, I'm also qualified and certified, but because, and then I'm not just a person in a wheelchair with a physical disability, I'm a quadriplegic. All 4 of my limbs are affected, and that places me at a disadvantage, which at times makes it hard for me to even consider going certain places or trying certain things or even socializing with people as well.
Well, in my opinion, it is time for a break. Stay tuned for the next session or discussion.
We have to build the youths that have a youth in Jamaica.
This is Kevin too swayzy. This is Kevin too lazy. We'll take a break.
Take 3.
National Baking Company, quality Jamaican product. Yo! Cheesy Boats, the picnic, I gonna love them here. It's like more popular than hopscotch and video games. Now this made with real cheese. They like cheddar grenades. It's like somebody set up a cheese war in your mouth.
It's shockingly cheesy. Cheesy Boats. Energize your taste buds. National Baking Company, made for Jamaicans by Jamaicans.
It's a WOW scholarship. Cranwater, in association with Talk of You, donates 3 $100,000 scholarships to 3 deserving youth to enhance their educational and professional development. Cranwater, supporting youth with WOW scholarships. Water with WOW.
Self-esteem is to believe in yourself and to develop a mind of trust, honesty, faith, pride, and confidence. Philippians 4 verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This scripture alone gives me a wide meaning of self-esteem because it tells me that I can do everything positive with Christ in my life. I want to become an ambassador for Christ and for children with low self-esteem, that they might have a dream, be a positive role model, and be true to themselves. Thank you. Talk up youth, Mr. Talk up youth. Hallelujah.
We have to build the youths that have a youth in Jamaica.
Well, I'm going to start with you, Shani. Regarding when you said earlier that, in your opinion, self-esteem does not come from within, could you explain to me exactly what you mean? Because I don't want to misinterpret any at all.
Quite frankly, self-esteem initially, we're not born genetically modified for high self-esteem or low self-esteem. It's kind of like a quadrant that we have to put ourselves in. So initially, when we're born, our parents socializes us to have a particular type of self-worth. And then after that, then the child may, gather the information together, then create his own self-perception. So that's what I'm saying. So if you put a child in a particular environment where his parents treat him with good love and passion and everything, and he grows up in a situation like this, the possibility of him having a great self-esteem is 100-fold. If you put a child in a situation where there is this lacking of self-esteem, there's no self-worth, the parent is telling you, oh, you're black like your papa, or you're ugly like your papa, then what is going to happen is that that child may internalize such thing and create himself a different self-perception with a possibility of having it much lower than the individual who was put in a situation with a higher personnel of self-esteem.
Growing up, from I was born till even now at 21, every single day, my dad looks at me and he says, you're the most beautiful girl in the world. Every day. If I'm not with him, he calls to tell me that. And that contributed to me having a high self-esteem growing up. But then, you have to also factor in how the society impacts how people think about themselves. Because by the time I was 12, like I said before, I started to have issues because people were saying things to me that were just negative, and I internalized that. So it's both. You can have a high self-esteem from the gate when you start, but over the course of your life, it could change. It's in constant flux.
Another thing I'd like to ask you about, your opinions on bleaching. If you bleach, is it that you have low self-esteem, or is it that you have high self-esteem? Which is it?
I think the media has floated the issue in somewhat because it's always connected. Bleaching equal low self-esteem, and I have a problem with that. What is so wrong with an individual being so confident with himself that he bleaches for the purposes of fashion or whatever reason? It cannot be simply, oh, low self-esteem and black is good, black is this, don't bleach your skin. Then what about putting on hair extensions? What about the eyelashes? What about lipstick? Aren't these alterations as well? Why does we stick on bleaching and say, oh, that means low self-esteem?
When a person bleaches their skin, they're actually putting themselves in danger of diseases, of being discriminated against when they bleach their skin. It is not like putting on the false hair or the eyelashes. The most someone can say is that, oh, your hair looks fake. Well, yes, it looks fake. It is fake. But at the same time, when you bleach your skin, it is opening a can of worms that no matter how many years you stay off of bleaching, it cannot change.
If you do not find a problem with having your black skin, why do you bleach your skin? And I just can't find a way to understand why is it that persons think that, oh, if you bleach, you'll be treated in a different way, you'll be treated in a better way rather, and more opportunities will be brought forth.
At the end of the day, it is what you think of yourself.
Yes,
exactly.
So that's true.
Very much not what other people think about you.
One of the things.
Sorry, Jerome. To stick on that, you have just admitted what we said in the beginning. At first, you said that it has nothing to do with you. It is defined by society, but it is not. It is defined by you. It is called self-esteem, self-worth, the value that you place on yourself. With all the odds, with all of the influences, with all the stereotyping and everything. It's how you think of yourself. Look at me. I'm in a wheelchair. I wasn't born in a wheelchair. I can come off abrasive and aggressive. I can come off quite overconfident. But depending on the situation that I'm in, I'm not defined by what society has to say or what you have to say or what Christina has to say. It's what I think and how I choose to deal with it.
Would you say that having high self-esteem is the best thing for a person, like high self-esteem?
In my opinion, over self-confidence or too high self-confidence is just another form of low self-confidence as well.
We need to get persons to understand that what they see in that mirror, they should love it. They should accept it.
Yes.
So it goes deeper than bleaching. It goes deeper than hair extensions.
Yes.
It's understanding that this is you and you are good.
Yes. I think that high self-esteem is just low self-esteem in hiding. When a person has too much confidence or comes off extremely confident, sometimes that's just trying to hide what is really within, especially if that person has a disability. Because a person who has a disability, they do not want to come off as weak.
Yeah, that's very true. Because especially when a person has an obvious flaw, like they're fat, as Christina would say that she was born fat and whatever, right? They tend to have a very
Wait, can I put you there? Being fat is not
Exactly.
a flaw.
Exactly.
It is not a flaw.
Your body is your
some
body
persons,
and you need to love it regardless of how
exactly.
it looks. It's just
No, but
fat
some
cells,
persons,
okay?
yes, some person have the perception that it is a flaw. I don't think it is a flaw. You're beautiful just the way you are, Christina. Right? It's like a mask that is used to hide this because, as Teresa said, you don't want to come off weak, right? So when persons say, you're fat and ugly like, you might tell them, like your mother, right? Which it shouldn't come off that way, right? But because they don't want to come off as weak and whatever, this is something that they use as a mask.
You need to understand, for all you persons out there with low self-confidence, if somebody is bullying you, they have way lower self-esteem than you do.
Yes.
They're just trying to make themselves feel
Feel
better
better.
about
Exactly.
themselves.
And like Shoshana, like I also want to bring out the point that sometimes low self-esteem, or what we think is low self-esteem, is really not low self-esteem. Because there are people out there who have literal mental issues. For example, bipolar disease, you swing high and you swing low, and sometimes you're really confident, but sometimes you're really depressed about yourself. And we often think of those things as self-esteem, and that stops people from getting the help that they really need. And people beat themselves up about it when there are chemicals in your brain that are forcing your body and your mind to think this way. So we also need to make sure we get rid of the stigmas around self-esteem, so people who feel that way can say, you know, I always feel this way, and then their parents can get them checked out, because it's sometimes really serious.
I also would like to ascribe some social responsibility to those individuals who have high self-esteem. Not overconfidence, but high self-esteem. To try not to push other individuals in a sense of lower self-esteem. Because then individuals of low self-esteem try to compare themselves. Okay, Brad is so smart, Brad has all this confidence. Let me try to be like Brad. And then you try to compare yourself. When you try to compare yourself, you end up in a situation, in a deeper well, because you will never be like Brad.
That's
And
right.
comparison is the thief of joy.
Exactly.
I wanted to go back to your point earlier about low self-esteem being okay, but there are also instances when it's not okay. Because you do need to have a strong sense of self to ward off against predators. Because there are people out there that are looking for people who have issues with themselves, especially like in the situation where you have an older man or older woman that's sexually coming on to a younger girl or a younger boy. They will often look for the one that's not so sure about themselves, have a little issue, and then they come up and they say, you know, you're so beautiful. And then all of a sudden you feel beautiful now, so that you will do all sorts of things you wouldn't do normally. So we have to be careful about that.
So basically, whenever you get down, you just have to try to get back up. You don't stay down. It's perfectly normal for sometimes you to say, hold on, me can do this, or this is me. But just don't stay in that mind. Just keep
Sing
telling
a
yourself.
song, dance around your room, write a poem, read a book, do something. Don't stay there. It's a bad place.
And sometimes it's just better to just step back from the painting, assess it, and look at things, and you say, okay, what can I do better sometime? What can I do this? And I also have a message for some of these individuals on social media who just simply like to pray and throw videos, and they have taunts and the memes out there. These kind of things affect individuals because social media is becoming the new place of interaction. And then individuals find a way to try to create a new type of profile. And they say things that they wouldn't normally say. And then we get that so much confidence from social media.
How many likes, how many shares, who's looking at you.
And then I'm so glad the American Society of Psychology deems selfies as a psychological problem, because everybody nowadays is taking up their phone and creating a selfie. They filter it, they edit, they take out the blemishes, and this is not you.
But you know, Shani, and speaking of which, it's social media time.
Jamaica.
I am here for you and you for me. So I will always love you, even through the hard times. If ever you need me, I'll be
Some moments
there.
last a lifetime. This moment is brought to you by National Cream Crackers.
It's a WOW scholarship! Cranwater, in association with Talk of Youth, donates 3 $100,000 scholarships to 3 deserving youth to enhance their educational and professional development. Cranwater, supporting youth with WOW scholarships. Water with WOW!
We have to build the youths there. Talk of Youth in Jamaica.
So we're back. Let's talk solutions. I was born into an inner city community, one which young men from that community already deemed to be basically scum. I thought of myself as nothing. I remember days upon days just looking into the mirror, saying, Jerome, you are great. Jerome, you can do it. Jerome, you can achieve your goals. A second and very, very important thing that I did was I chose my friends wisely. I remember going to high school, a lot of persons think I was popular, but I only had like 3 friends because those were the 3 friends who really believed in me. And thirdly, just do the things that you enjoy. These ways, you will develop a better self-perception.
Self-esteem is one of the issues which affect everyone, all ages, young or old, and Jamaicans need to be aware of this. Not only that, but when you are fat or you're too small or you're too skinny or you're too tall or your braces make you look like the front of a car or something like that, then take that and show them your beautiful smile. Blind them with your braces. You look amazing the way you are. Self-esteem is the way one thinks about their self.
Knowing who you are is very important because when you know who you are, you tend to not have low self-esteem, right? When you look at history, studies have shown that Jamaica in particular has rely heavily on the Europeans, right, to validate themselves. We need to stop teaching them not only about enslavement or during the slavery days what happened, but teach them way before that, the blacks that accomplish great things. So young persons, you're beautiful just the way you are. They need to emancipate themselves from mental slavery. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None other than ourselves can free our minds.
Big tune.
Starts next year.
Sure.
I would say to one individual to not take negative criticism, take constructive criticism. And sometimes we take every criticism as being wrong and we say, okay, that person doesn't like me. Sometimes it's just you need to sift through the negative, find the positive, and use it to your own advantage. Another thing is to dream big. Let no one put you in a box and say that you must go on this route or you are capable of this much and only that much. We should dream big. If you want to fly to the moon, say you're going to fly to the moon and be proud about it. If you're going to say that I am going to be this one day, you can be that person. If we don't follow the blood that beats within us, then we will lose the life we have and then we've lived no life at all.
Be kinder to each other and understand that some people are going to internalize. So it's just being kinder, and also I agree that we should also internalize and understand that we need to have a strong sense of self so that those negative comments, when they do come inevitably, you don't take them in that much. But also with mental health and self-esteem where they get confused, we also need to remove the stigma from low self-esteem so people who have problems can either self-medicate like Jerome was saying or also get help, because sometimes it's not just low self-esteem and you try to bury it under things. Find out what's really going on with you and check that out.
In this case, I guess I'll have to be specific with persons with disability. Parents out there with persons with disability, you have a child that is congenial, meaning that it's born with a disability, integrate them, play with them, allow them to socialize and to be included, allow them to understand from beginning that they have a right to be here just like everybody else. If you have acquired a disability like me, take small, slow steps to integrate back yourself, but just don't stop there. Family members and friends, encourage them, motivate them. Do like my mother did when I was told that I wouldn't be able to walk. I'd be lying down all my life. She took me out of my bed and she put me outside to sit down. And I cried and I cried and I cried, and she's like, life doesn't stop here for you. Continue. So, and as well, stop discriminating again. Stop bullying persons, and as he said, stop limiting persons. Don't say that you can't do this. Allow them, give them the right to express and experience freely. It's their right too. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was a great show. Thanks very much. And now it's celebrity interview time.
This is a show for the youth and by the youth. What would you like the younger generation to know and learn?
I'd really like the youth to just believe in themselves, you know, to listen to voices that lift them up and tune out those that don't do that, to really go forward toward what it is they really want to do in life and to believe without a doubt that everything is possible for them.
How important is it to talk up, aka let your voice be heard?
Talking up is a must. We have our voices to make noise, to say the things we want to say the things we mean. So our opinions can be heard. And I think that it's so important to speak what's on your mind so that your ideas can be brought to life and your concerns can be dealt with. Talk up, man. Yeah, man.
What do you think are some of the keys to your success?
Success is a journey. And this journey has been one of ups and downs. And I think it's really important for people to realize from the beginning that it's not a straight, smooth road. It's going to be rocky, it's going to be bumpy, it's going to have turns, ups and downs. But what I have learned is to be grateful and to keep moving forward. That's the secret.
What is a good suggestion for youths with low self-esteem?
You are who you say you are. You are who you think you are. And if there are any negative voices reinforcing any lies about who you're not, tune them out. You know, it's just like watching the TV. If you don't like a program, change the channel. So change the channel to the people in your lives that lift you up, that speak positivity to you. Focus on successful people, pattern their behavior, learn from those who've done well and believe that you can do well and even exceed the things that you have seen those people do. You are limitless and it's the truth, and anything else anybody else tells you is a lie. Thanks for having me. Talk up, youth. Myself, talk up, youth.
Talk up, youth. Myself, talk up, youth.
Jamaica. Talk Up Yout is powered by National Baking Company in association with Crown Water, a Stanley and Empress production, giving the youth a voice.